Hello and welcome to this video. I'll be breaking down the 3 most common interview red flags that recruiters pick up very fast within the first 60 seconds. The truth with interviews is that it starts long before you even sit down or before the interviewers start asking the formal questions that they had prepared for you. As a candidate, from the moment you walk into an interview room, you adjust your seat, or even before you greet the panel, the way you greet the panel, before you even switch on your camera, the first impression really matters. And in this context, for the recruiters, the first impression is incredibly fast. And they are able to pick up some of the red flags that portrays you negatively as a professional or even as a candidate, depending on the role that you are being interviewed for. And the truth sometimes is that as candidates, we are not even aware when exuding some of these behaviors or nonverbal cues that portrays negative energy to the recruiter. And this is very important because they shape how the entire conversation will flow during the interview. So walk with me through this journey as I highlight the main 3 common red flags that you need to watch out for as you prepare for your next interview. Common red flag number 1 is the nervous energy that shows up even before you say anything. I know you can already relate with this. During the interview, a little bit of nervousness is perfectly okay. It's actually very normal because we always say that is what keeps you on check and it enables you not to be overconfident or bring out arrogance or pride as a professional before you are even interviewed. So a little bit of nervousness is perfectly okay. The challenge comes in when that nervous energy outweighs or speaks louder before you even utter a word as a candidate. I know you can relate with moments where you start greeting the panel and your hands are a bit shaking, your voice is a bit shaky, you try to avoid even eye contact when greeting the panel, or sometimes you are offered the seat, or even before you are offered the seat, you're either sitting too soon or too fast, or if you're required to speak, you speak in a very low tone. These are the small things that brings about the nervous energy that speaks louder even before you utter a word. Or sometimes as a candidate, because we are always told that you need to wear a warm smile throughout during the interview, you find yourself over smiling because you are uncomfortable. So you may feel like you are hiding something, but these are the interview red flags that recruiters are able to pick instantly. In fact, in their minds, this makes them ask themselves the question of, is this how well you handle pressure? Or is this how well you'll be able to interact with the team or even with clients? So this nervous energy will manifest not because you lack the skill or the competence as a candidate, but it is about not knowing how to center yourself before the conversation begins. And that is why I encourage candidates, try as much as you can for the upcoming interview that you have. Get to the venue on time, at least quarter to your interview time. Familiarize yourself with the venue. Get to say hi to 1 or 2, 3 people that you meet along the corridors. It helps you to keep your nervousness or the anxiety on check so that it doesn't show up before you utter a word. The second common red flag that recruiters are able to pick within 60 seconds from the moment you walk into an interview room is greeting. And here I'm referring to a greeting that feels off for the room. Oh yes, you walk into an interview room, of course, you are expected to say hi. You are expected to salute the interviewers or the panel. So most of the time, of course, greetings will always set the mood for a conversation. And it is this moment that the recruiter will get a sense of the energy that you exude and even your personality before the real conversation begins. But most of the time, you find that from candidates, greetings go wrong without even them realizing. your good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on the time you are being interviewed for, may sometimes sound a bit flat, or you may sound too excited. And the interviewer is able to pick whichever energy that you exude during that moment. Sometimes you find candidates even just directing their greeting to just one panelist, and they overlook the rest of the team. So these moments always feel tiny, or they may seem very small, but they are early signs that interviewers or recruiters are able to pick very fast. In fact, when it comes to greetings that feels off for the room, the first thing that runs in the mind of the potential employer is this how you are going to interact or engage with their clients? Or is this how you are going to be engaging with your colleagues if given the opportunity? So as a candidate, you don't actually need to be perfect, but all you need to do is just to present yourself in a more balanced way. Ensure that you exude the right kind of energy, you exude the right kind of personality trait, depending also on the role that you're being interviewed for. And the final common interview red flag that recruiters are able to pick up very fast, even before you say anything, within 60 seconds, is your body language. You will agree with me that your body always tells the story, even before the words do. And according to this scholar by the name Dr. Albert Mehrabian, the theory of communication he came up with after doing research is that out of 100%, 55% determinant on how the audience, or your audience, in this context, the interviewers, will receive the message you're conveying to them is on your body language. So there is a lot that they're already picking up from your sitting posture, from your eye contact, from how you use gestures, your facial expression, even before they ask you a question that requires you to respond. And I believe this is something that you can relate with as a recruiter or even as a candidate. You walk into an interview room, you are offered a seat. How you sit on that chair speaks volumes. I've seen most of the time from experience candidates being offered the seat and they are sitting way at the edge of the chair, insinuating they are just about to run if given the opportunity, or they are a bit slouching on the seat, and that communicates nervousness. Or you find that depending on the type of the seat, they get too comfortable and they find themselves swaying or swinging with the chair, and that communicates overconfidence. So whichever way, your body language is very important subject to watch out for during the interview. Sometimes I've even observed it with the ladies candidates. They walk into an interview room and they struggle with, now where should I put my handbag? And they find themselves putting the handbags on the laps and holding on the handbag. Or your documents file, you hug it tightly on your chest. These small nonverbal cues communicates a lot to the interviewer, and they are able to pick them very fast, and they allude them to lack of confidence, unpreparedness, or even self-assurance kind of feeling. So as a candidate, these are things that you need to watch out for. Always remember that these small signs of nonverbal cues, they don't manifest because you are unqualified, but they manifest because the nervousness always takes over your body language. So in a nutshell, as a candidate, what I am trying to put across is the first impression really matters, and it runs incredibly very fast. And the interviewers are able to pick some of these common red flags that makes them to judge you negatively even before you are interviewed for the main role or position that you had been shortlisted for. So how do you avoid these interview red flags? Very important question that we need to answer. Most of the people don't really mess up interviews because they are not good enough. That is never the case. But they mess up interviews because they are not able to pay attention to these small habits, like the nervousness, the habits, the silence in the room, in the first few minutes, it takes the bigger part of themselves, and they allow these common red flags to communicate louder than their own qualifications or expertise. And the beauty is that with the help of an interview coach, you are able to identify some of these common mistakes or red flags, and the coach will guide you on how to manage anxiety, how to manage nervousness, how to exude confidence with your body language, and most importantly, how to mirror the right kind of energy during the interview as a candidate. Interview coaching services is part of what we do here at Corporate Staffing Services, and so we encourage you to reach out to us if you have an upcoming interview, or you can even prepare for future interviews. It's always good to be prepared, because you never know which is the next moment you will receive that email inviting you for an interview. I encourage you to share with us in the comment section your own experience with regards to these common interview red flags, and even any other topic that you'd want us to handle in our upcoming videos. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next one.